Okay, I'm making another video this morning, and this time once again on UniML, Universal Modeling Language, not to be confused with UML, Unified Modeling Language. And by the way, I have a book on that here. I'll show the cover and I'll show the cover. There you go, Doing Hard Time Developing Real-Time Systems with UML, Objects, Frameworks, and Patterns. This is UML, but I'm talking about UniML, not Unified Modeling Language, but Universal Modeling Language. And so, and my comment on making these videos is I'm definitely a thinker, and and being retired, I kind of have erratic sleep habits because I don't have to get up at any certain time. So I might wake up, say 4 in the morning or 4:30, and just lay in bed and think about things and get up maybe at 8 or 8:30 and have my shower and breakfast and then make a video. And then, I might turn on the light and scribble some stuff on a notepad. You can see I've got tons of stuff here. Here's more, here's scribble and scribble and scribble. And then I say, I think I'll make a video. And okay, first of all, I'm probably going to forget half of what I thought of and only cover maybe 10% at best. So there's always going to be stuff I'll leave out. I'm always thinking more than I have time to put. And then one of the reasons I'm making these videos is to help me remember what I thought. And it's always changing. That makes it even worse. This is a state of flux. And then I don't get very many views. If I go look at my website here. This is
everyone intuitively.
And also I might make comments. Like here's this website. Let me go in here. It's pretty cool. Organisms are not made of atoms. So but I go to your channel, and I got 16 views. I'm getting more than I used to. So I think 2 or 3 of them are me. So maybe I got 12 or 13 views. So I'm getting a lot more than I used to. Like here, some of these older ones. Let's see. Let me go to videos. See, I spent a lot of time making a series of videos and only get 5 views. So I'm not making money off of these. I don't have any sponsors or what do you call it, Patreon account or whatever. But I look at the number of views and see, I spent a lot of time making this video. Was it worth making it and I didn't probably get 5 views. I might have got 1 view. It's probably because when I go look at it, it shows up as a view. So whenever you view one of my videos, I'm not making any money off of it. And, an ego, after years of not having many views, the ego thing kind of fades away in the background. It's not of much interest. The views come and they go. It's more like, is it worth my time to make a video? And if the more people view it, I'll probably spend more time on the video making a better video. So that's where views come in. I look at the views and think, well, okay, so people are interested in this one. And it might be because nobody knows. People that are interested just don't know it's there, and I don't know how to fix that. But anyway, going back, that was my little segue. I have here a Padlet. You see Padlet virtual corkboard, and there I try to put the real design, but even there it's kind of lags because as I change it, I don't update it. So you'll see things, I'll say X is 2 at one place, and then someplace I'll say X is 4. And I just forgot that I said it earlier, or just didn't care. So, so what I'm trying to be is multimedia, and to help convey these things, because in one sense, UniML is a way of showing n-dimensional spaces on a 2-dimensional surface, that being like a screen, 2-dimensional surface. Now, if you have virtual reality glasses, which I don't have, you could probably do some cool things, but I haven't gone there yet and haven't invested in that. So I'm limited to rendering things into 2D. But we live in a 3D world, well, actually 4D if you include time. And there's all this stuff that I call outside the model, like this book, it's outside the model. There's my breakfast, it's outside that basket, it's outside the model. There's my keyboard, it's outside the model. There's outside, there's a tree, there's a car. Those are all things, when I say outside the model, I'm talking about, there's my drums. Here's my new cymbal stand. So those are outside the model. And now the way you could bring them inside the model is various ways. And one of the ways is what I call it a swim lane island. But and I haven't found that yet. Let's see if I can find one real handy. Swim lane island. Yeah, I think I found one here. There we go. So here's a swim lane island. Actually, there's 3 of them all in this. There's White Pearl that owns them, so that's an archipelago of multiple islands. And so this is a clip. This is where I imported something outside the model, which is the rules of the game. I just took an image of them and imported them inside the model. And you can see the little underpasses there where the crosswalks go under it. They're saying it doesn't have anything to do with those crosswalks, it just happens to be there. You can live it someplace else. And so that's what the underpasses mean. It's like there's no connection there, just accidentally connected. It just happens to be there. You could drag it up and down, and those underpasses would go away, or other ones would appear. And then I have these things called bookmarks. So there's a bookmark right there. Usually it's short and pink. It says C, so that says infantry. And so then there's a yarn. I'm going to follow the yarn. And it actually goes up here and it says infantry. So, and in linguistics, they call that denotes it. This white pearl denotes that thing that I imported outside the model into the model. And it also, and those are bins. So when you have bins, it means you have routing. You have to route them because there's more than one way you could have routed it. And so there's a software, the routing is done, the bins are done, I'm getting more detail I really want to, by the resident Rembrandt, because that determines composition. And then there's the smart artist. They could kind of move those bins around a little bit, but not too far, to kind of make it fit better. And then the actual symbols themselves are called stunt cards. They're just like little pasted notes you could paste in, or refrigerator magnets you could stick on. So that's probably what I think of those as little refrigerator magnets. And here's the refrigerator. And then you have the little refrigerator magnets. And then there's things like strings and swim lanes and crosswalks that have to be drawn and routed. And they have bins too. So, and here's the little algorithm that shows how the nudging is done. It's called Springs model. Like all these are attached by springs and have different stiffness. So the string could push things away or pull them closer together. That's how the smart artist does nudging. So I've covered a lot of stuff here, but because there's a lot of stuff to cover, and you can stack these. You see, here's a stack. You don't have to put them all unstacked. Here we have a stack, and generally, if it's more than 3, you just show 3 stack or more, and so there could be 10,000 of these. These could be like the whole manuals here, or maybe not 10,000, but maybe there's 300 of these swim lane islands. And you stack them so you don't have to take up so much space. Then you can unstack them. So anyway, what I was going to show here is this idea of Windows tunnel vision. And I forgot so let me move this and say bookmark. Okay, here's a a bookmark that's outside the model. It's a real bookmark. And here's a book. And so suppose I wanted to talk about a state diagram. So let's put, and then Windows Tunnel Vision. This bookmark I'm going to put here on this side, and I drew this. And so now I have, here's a white pearl. This is inside, now this bookmark, this is the physical bookmark. And then when I turn it over, this is the bookmark that's in here. It's like this bookmark. It's attached to here on the mezzanine, not the mezzanine, but marquee attached to that. This is that's a fountain water white pearl, which means it's a subset of like U.S. Marine subset. We have infantry squads, sections, machine guns, da 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 da. So it's attached to that on the its marquee. Now going back here, I see I've drawn here. There's the I can't point to it. Can't point. See, I can't point to what's on my phone because I don't have a cursor. But if I could, I'm going to point to here and say there's a white pearl. Say it's here. There's a white pearl here, and it's that white pearl. That one. Oh, I can point here. That one. I can't point here. That white pearl is somewhere on the string. Okay, and then there it has a bookmark, and so that bookmark. See, without Windows, say if I had virtual reality glasses, this yarn, I could extend this yarn outside the screen and project it right on this book. And so with VR glasses, I could go from this 2D view and say, what's this? And so, oh, it's a state called waiting. You can't read my writing there. Waiting. And then, so here is the string, not on the screen here, but on my VR glasses that's overlaid on this book. So that's the idea of a bookmark, is it doesn't just mark the page, it can mark this. I call this area like the region of interest. I can only draw all of it because I don't want to draw on my book, but I could have drawn it here. So the region of interest is you could go better than just saying what page am I on. Or actually, there's ambiguity. I could be on this page or that page, but rather this page. There's the portion of the page that I'm pointing to, the region of interest. So when I say UniML defines different spaces, some of the spaces are inside the model, like here. Some are outside the model, then imported inside the model, here. And here's something that's outside the model, but with virtual reality glasses, we could still point to that, or it could be not a book, it could be a different application. Like, let me go to here, my PowerPoint. This is my PowerPoint charts. See if that's up. Nope. Let's just click here. New. And I'm going to click here. Okay. So this is the snipping tool. I snipped this, and there's my snipping tool. I made a copy. I should have shown that. And so this is a different space, and this is outside the model. But this is maybe how I got it inside the model. I took a copy of this, not from here, but from the actual rule book, and then imported in here, imported it to the swim lane island. Now, the model doesn't know what in the world this is. It maybe it has an app that could read words. So it could automatically say, oh, here's the words. Here's infantry includes. Let's see, get a little closer. Infantry includes regular infantry, elite infantry, airborne rangers, German. You can see now, what I call a goblin is something that automatically takes stuff that's outside the model and render objects inside the model. I might not know what they are, but it could have automatically created these white pearls, and you could maybe tell it what kind of white pearl you want it to create. So you don't have to manually do it. And then a hobgoblin is the opposite. It could take structures here and then create graphical representations of them. And it would do that not in a swim lane island, but in what I call a city park, which is city park. the diamonds wouldn't be here and here. They'd be left and right and run along the crosswalk. And then you could have mixtures like water parks and theme parks. And so now, why do I have all those different structures? Is because the drawing rules are different. And also some of the drawing rules and maybe the goblins and hobgoblins are different. So there's something different about it. And so you might want to treat it differently. In other words, you might want to display it or hide it using different criteria. So like there's waterfront property. So you might just say, show everything in that waterfront property. I don't want to show everything. I just want to see everything in that waterfront property versus having to select it all individually. So it's just different ways of grouping things and different syntaxes you imply. So now going back to close this. So when I go to here, and it's number 10, Windows Tunnel Vision, I put a little video here of showing it. And so we just watch a little bit of that video. But yeah, I want to show something in the video because let me click, here. Okay, I'll click here. Sorry, this gets kind of long. Like I said, I've been thinking about what I want to say for hours when I was laying in bed this morning. This is a video I'm going to make to describe what Windows Tunnel Vision is. There's a little graphic here. You can see it. Windows Tunnel Vision. Okay, let me pause that. So here I'm making a video of my video. And see what I was doing that, I said, I can point to anything on the screen, but I can't point to things off the screen like up here. I can't draw a line from here up to say there. But I forgot to mention I can't draw a line from here to there or here to there. So that's what I mean by Windows Tunnel Vision. It's just limited to what you could draw a graphic, like a yarn, particularly the yarn. The yarn is the thing that denotes, going back to linguistics, denotes. Cat denotes a cat. So if you have the cat and it's a picture of the cat, you could say, when I have the word the cat and I have the picture of the cat, how do I connect the two? Well, with a bookmark and yarn. So that denotes. Now, it might be figurative, the cat meaning the burglar, the cat burglar, or the cat, but at any rate, so the idea is UML is sort of this way of importing things into a model, ontology model, exporting things created in the model to the outside world, or pointing to things in the world. What I want to get to is, say this book was online. Instead of me having to use virtual reality glasses, instead I could open up this window that's like, say it's on a Kindle, and I got Kindle online, so I could without, if doing that right now, I have Windows Tunnel Vision. I can't draw a line from my model here to this book that's on Kindle, not sitting on my desk, but on the Kindle version. But that's where portals comes in. If we create a portal, what a portal would do is allow one app to talk to the other app for the sole purpose of being able to align yarn and put regions of interest. Now to do that, you'd have like an object, it's like this figure. Say this book is on Kindle, not on my desktop. And then here's this figure 717. And so in the portal, we'd say, we have a way, and you have to have a way to do this. Now, there's two ways of doing it. One is intrinsic. In the software, in the Kindle software, it could have the smarts to say, okay, here's a reach of interest, here's the yarn, and we're going to put a portal so we could connect that up to UniML. So that requires the people on Kindle to modify the Kindle software. The other way to do it is now that we have AI, the AI could just mimic what the human does. It could just say, oh, I could look at this figure on the Kindle or on the real book, recognize what it is using my AI, just like the human does. And then I could form the portal and then overlay it. You'd have to have Windows to have the ability to do that, but Windows can. The fact that I could take this here, go back to here. The fact that I could go new, and I'm going to take this here. Now, see, Windows lets me look outside there. I can't point to this section like this here, this folder here. I can't point to it, but now that I can point to it here though, because now that is if I paste it into PowerPoint. So Windows lets you access those things. So what I'm saying is that all the pieces are here to make it so that even you could overcome Windows tunnel vision by having intrinsic methods or extrinsic. The extrinsic method could be like a virtual reality glasses, or it could be AI that just reads the thing like the human and then interprets what it is and then forms the portal to UniML. So the moral of the story is that UniML is a modeling language that lets you show these things. It's just notation, but it's a graphical notation. Portal is a piece of software that has the ability to hide things and display things and rotate things or whatever you want to do with it, manipulate the graphics any way you want. And then you have apps like Goblins that could read in things and automatically create white pearls for you, or maybe a complete UniML diagram if it's smart enough. And Hobgoblins let you go the other way. So anyway, maybe in here, I'm just going to go through other things like state diagrams and sequence diagrams, but I'll save that for another video. This has gotten long enough. So even to make this video, I haven't used my cell phone here. I could probably use 2 cell phones so I could take a picture of my other cell phone. Might do that. I've got the real world out here that I can point. That's why I like my cell phone here. I had this camera here, but it just doesn't work very well. Here's my violin and bando and uke over there. So here's my artwork on the wall. Here's my little world. I spend a lot of time in my room. So at any rate, it's a globe. I mean, this is a pretty cool globe. You could write on it. And so given all that, let me end here. This real world is more interesting than the UniML world, but the UniML world can interact with that real world in various manners, and to make it maybe not as interesting as real world, but be able to at least model the real world in a way that's not is as little abstraction as you could get away with. So like a bookmark is like a bookmark, but it's an abstraction, but it goes beyond a bookmark, like I say, because it could have string, yarn, the yarn, and regions of interest that could point outside the model. Given you have some not media, but yeah, maybe media is the right word, like portal, some portal to that outer world. So I name these things. I might have goofy names for them, like tidbits and doodads and things like that. But generally, I spend a lot of time thinking about the name, trying to make it easy to remember, something that you could relate to, minimize abstraction. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have abstraction. Just don't make it any more abstract than it need be. Try to keep it as close to some physical thing, like a bookmark. I could say it's a pointer, a relational connector, But bookmark is just a little less abstract. So, but when you look at it, it looks like that. There's the bookmark. You can see that one. And it's trying to point to this. That's what I can do this now. I can't extend the line up to here. See, what is that? It's called, let me get it. I can't read what it is. But say it's this. It's trying to point to that. Let's see, where am I trying to point to? Maybe it's trying to point to that symbol. But Windows won't let me draw that line up to here. And now let me put the cursor there. So I put the cursor there. It won't let me draw the line there. So if I had a portals with Windows, I could say, hey, Windows, I want to extend this line up to from here to here. And oh, by the way, if I move this, see me move. I think I can't move this. It won't let me move it. Let's just say this is, say we have a pointer from here to there. So pointer goes from here to say it's pointing to that thing there. So if I move this, oops, the line there, didn't want to do that. I move it, that line should move too. So the portals isn't a dead link. It has, now it doesn't have to know anything about what that thing is other than where's the line, the yarn and the region of interest. It doesn't have to know what's inside that region of interest. That's go back to here. No, go back to, I lost my bookmark. This will work. That's what the white pearls are for. The white pearls then identify what it is that's in that region of interest. So and it's identifying it in a way that UML can understand. So it's kind of complicated. Now, the reason I'm explaining all this is I haven't seen any tool like this. I've been spending 10 years doing this because, thinking about it, maybe longer, because I keep needing to do things like this and I can't find a tool that lets me do it. So I thought, I'll just come and invent my own. big words. So that's my attempt here. And when I attempted, I thought, it's not like anything you could do on paper or even on your computer today. So it's a new paradigm. And new paradigms are kind of hard to convey because it's hard to give examples. I need the tool to show the value of the tool. That's what I call the catch-22. My catch-22 is to see the value of the tool, you need the tool, but the tool is going to be expensive to make. Therefore, you have to build the tool before you can show the value of the tool. That's my catch-22. And the only way you'd get people to invest all the money and resources to build the tool is for them to be able to visualize the value of the tool without having the tool. And there's no guarantee that this will all work because it may not work. So there's risk involved. So I'm making the video sort of to deal with this catch-22 of saying, can I convey the value of the tool, even though I'm not quite certain of its value because I don't have the tool to use. I'm just picturing it in my mind. And also, the first version you build isn't going to be that useful. It's going to be clunky, klutzy, whatever, and error prone. And so it's going to take not just building a tool, but 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 iterations before the tool suddenly is useful. But I remember going back when digital, what do you call it? Digital, it's like filters were coming out. What do you call it? There's a word, I can't remember the word, kind of processing. I thought, why would you do that when you could just have a capacitor and a resistor and do it analog? And yeah, back then it was new, but now everybody uses digital processing. It just took a while for it to become viable. And then when you could do things digital, signal processing, that's the word I was looking for, signal processing. So yeah, used to be in the old days, you do analog signal processing. Nowadays, we do digital signal processing. And in the transition, there's this klutzy period where the signal processors were clunky and big and didn't maybe do as good as you could do with analog, but that was a transitory period. So I think you might have a similar thing shifting to this paradigm as well, if it ever happens. So I've kind of rambled on. Let me end the video here. So let me wave goodbye.